IBM was quietly, kind of creeping into the video business. Although some would argue, I mean, we did the Masters last week, so the entire Masters, video production, streaming, the apps, all the analytics about stats and things, that was done by IBM. And that business has been owned by IBM for a while. Asperaâand was bought a couple of years ago. Asperaâand is essentially the industry standard, as you know, for big file transfers, most of which are video. Clever safes, object storage, software, cloud. So all these things were being bought and integrated and sold by IBM. And one of the things that they recognize, which is what any IT company is recognizing now, is that video is the primary source of storage, compute, distribution. And so they said, hey, we don't want to be on the sidelines of video. We want to really be right in the middle of everything that's happening in digital video right now. And so that's what's happened here. The latest acquisitions of Clearleap and Ustream in the last couple of months, plus all these customer wins and our big presence at NAB is to kind of show the world how serious IBM is about video. We think it's the most robust offering of a cloud video platform, which is a big statement, but we've backed it up with a lot of facts. And so, if you start from content ingest, we have Asperaâand, which again is the kind of the world standard for ingesting, large video files. We have the ability to do, all sorts of content production, content workflow capabilities, even before, content is created and made available to studios and distributors. Then we have infrastructure for storing and managing all of that data and doing all the processing. So, as I mentioned earlier, a company called CleverSafe does object storage and does it both on-premise and off-premise and a hybrid. So for all those giant video files, you can get them in and out really quickly. You have high resiliency against data, failure of disks and things like that. So all the things you'd expect for really high quality storage. And then with Clearleap and Ustream, we have the ability to create essentially any type of format of video. We take metadata in from any source you can imagine, anything from manually typing it into a really clean UI to scraping databases that are out there to taking output from a media asset management system from companies like this. So getting all that content in, managing it, creating all the different formats, being aware of all the rights of the content. So as we know, it's getting more and more complex. Managing who's allowed to have that content, both on a consumer level, but even more importantly on a B2B level. Everybody's figuring out how to best monetize the content they own, and that's a mix of licensing to Netflix, licensing to big distributors, creating your own over-the-top portals, and so the ability to manage all those rights, manage the subscriber information, and then ultimately deliver a quality user experience. So we can do all the things that you need to do to have a Netflix or better type of experience across all sorts of different devices.
And what about our friend Mr. Watson, the analytics?
Yeah, and then so that's the core infrastructure. So if you want to get a service up and running and you want it to perform really well, we have everything for you, from one place. But what's really interesting is now, as soon as those things are up and running and they're reliable and they work, the very next question you have is, all right, why is this doing really well? Why is this piece of content suddenly spiking? Or what's happening to my subscriber base where they're suddenly churning off for who knows what reason? Where are they going? Why are they going there? And so cognitive and analytics is the thing that people care about in order to really understand what their business is doing and then act on it. And that's probably the thing that immediately we got from our customers. Like, we get the global reach that you now have and the breadth of the things you can do, but we want to know what you can do with Watson. We want to know how you can predict how well our business can do. Can you give us advice on how to get a customer to not churn off of our service? Or how do I get my conversion rates from my advertising-based service to my subscription-based service automatically increasing by understanding how customers are using the service? And you can even take things like the weather company acquisition and start correlating weather events within micro geographies and understanding who's more likely to be in front of a device, in front of which screen, and how are they going to be reacting to what they're seeing. So really interesting things around analytics and cognitive and some way bigger than just what is what are you likely to want to watch next based on the category of content you've watched?
It's very interesting, the acquisition of Ustream
Yeah.
and sort of the place of live in the enterprise
Yep.
and in society in general. And where is that going, and how does the Ustream acquisition fit in?
Well, I mean, you can look around the consumer landscape and see that live is becoming really, really important to consumers, and so consumers are getting trained to seeing things instantly, seeing real things, seeing things that are live, and so businesses want to do the same thing. If you want to communicate with your employees, if you want to market to customers, if you want to announce a new product, the best way to do that is do it live, get a big audience. I mean, think about what Tesla's done and what Apple's been doing for a long time. You really generate a level of excitement and interest when you can do things live, and it just feels more genuine and more real. And so we've seen lots of businesses adopt live kind of broadcast out to large audiences, but then also use the same technology, the same capabilities to do internal communications, to do town halls, to do communication between different geographies within their own organizations. And the expectation is it's going to work as well as anything out there. I think that's the big change that we're seeing, is there was a certain tolerance 5 years ago for kind of a mediocre corporate video experience, right? Where it was a server inside of your network that was kind of slow and clunky, and the video only worked if you had the right browser. Well, now people want to watch it on their mobile phone, on their tablet, on their connected devices, and they expect it to work as well as anything they're seeing in the consumer space. And so that's why Ustream makes a lot of sense for a company like IBM, who's selling to businesses all over the world and in all different industries.